I have a simple question for you today. Are modern motorcycles too powerful? Are they too fast? Do they have too much horsepower? And I think the answer is yes. And there's two reasons why. One, a lot of these bikes have literally unusable amounts of power on road. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later in the video. But the second reason, we're seeing a giant growing market for approachable, appropriate, and everyday usable motorcycles in the beginner bike category, adventure bikes, and even middleweight sport bikes. And with the waning decline of top-end sport bikes, I think it kind of has the writing on the wall. So let's talk about that unusable power first. In 1999, a Yamaha R1 had 150 horsepower. This was considered monstrous at the time. This bike was capable of doing 0 to 60 in 3 seconds flat, a quarter mile in 10.3 seconds, and had a top speed of 170 miles an hour. Of course, the bike had no electronics, a cable throttle, no ABS, and was basically, by today's standards, a proper widow-making, squid-killing machine. So let's not kid ourselves. We don't need 200 plus, 240 plus horsepower. This 150 horsepower R1 was ridiculously fast, faster than 99% of vehicles on the road. And to really put this into context, in 1999, the venerable SV650 had just been launched. It made 72 horsepower and 47 foot-pounds of torque, which is what they still kind of make today. Makes you wonder that motorcycle power is not really down to innovation or bigger engines or anything like that, right? It's kind of like we already had things figured out like 25 years ago. The figures for a 1999 SV650, considered by many to be an approachable beginner bike, simple, easy, fun to ride, 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, quarter miles accomplished in 11.8 seconds at 110 miles an hour, and a measured top speed of 128. So what are we really talking about when we talk about leader bikes that make 200 horsepower, 220, 217, 240, 245 in some of these Ducati V4 models? You're talking about a motorcycle that will not let you use that power until you're in 4th, 5th, or 6th gear, or manicures the power in such a way that you're barely using more than 140 to 150 horsepower most of the time. Rider electronics on these motorcycles are now required because they would be literally unrideable with that amount of power. I mean, 240 horsepower was what a top shelf professional level motorcycle used to make 20 years ago, even 10 years ago in some categories. Hell, I think in the mid 2000s, a MotoGP bike was making maybe 240 or 250 horsepower. And we're talking prototype bikes making that kind of power. So for example, Ducati's V4 products, they typically only allow for that crazy 210 plus horsepower in 5th and 6th gear at full pin when the bike is perfectly upright. So it will only unleash all of those ponies in certain gears, in certain conditions, and when the bike lets you unleash them. And yeah, you might say, but yeah, I flashed it. Now I have all the power all the time. Yeah, how much fun are you having on that motorcycle? This is a topic that is very machismo, very ego-driven, but riders like to say, yeah, bro, I got the leader bike. I ride the big bad bike. I use it all the time. I love that power on the highway. And quite frankly, I never really understood that. I've ridden over 180 different motorcycles, and leader bikes on the street are one of my least favorite experiences. Pooping around in first gear up to 70, 80, sometimes even 90 miles an hour with an unwieldy bike that's uncomfortable and way too fast for almost any road in America is kind of silly. Now, I will tell you, on a racetrack, leader bikes are awesome. You can use them, they are fun, they have tons of electronics, and they feel world class. I would never clown on anybody riding a leader bike on track unless they're getting passed on the outside by a rider on the Ninja 400. And even though modern motorcycles are shipping with more and more power, I mean, even this middleweight street triple 765 RS behind me makes now 128 horsepower, which used to be like top shelf 600 levels of power with more ample torque in the middle as well. Something kind of interesting is happening. We're seeing an explosion in bikes that make less than 100 horsepower. Bikes like the RS660 or maybe the Daytona 660, the R7, all these motorcycles in this new not so super sport middleweight category don't make that much peak horsepower. This past year in 2024, I had two top shelf leader bikes as giveaway bikes. I had the Yamaha R1M and the S1000RR. As the year went on, I decided to focus more on the middleweight bikes that were more popular, and honestly, I didn't miss the leader bikes at all. I had so much fun on the GSX 8R, on an MT-09 SP, even on the Aprilia RS 457, that fun little pocket rocket motorcycle. We're also seeing a huge explosion in what I'm calling the baby adventure bike or the beginner sport bike category. Now, please don't get mad at me for calling them baby motorcycles. It's not that they're designed for babies, it's that they literally look like shrunken down versions of their larger, ridiculous, monstrous, large capacity adventure bike cousins. If you look at the new Concept F450 GS compared to the 1300 GS, that's the same headlights. It looks like a baby version of it. That's why I say that. Don't get your panties in a twist. More and more riders want these cheap, accessible, fun, approachable motorcycles because if more of us were actually to be honest with ourselves, it is way more fun to ride these smaller powered motorcycles than it is to ride something with 200, 220, 240 horsepower. And again, when the motorcycle literally limits the power for you, at what point is it really just bragging rights and not even necessarily riding skill or fun? All right, if you told me that I would have 2 yellow giveaway bikes for 2024, I don't think I had that on my bingo card, honestly. But this is our Cosmic Yellow Street Triple 765 RS. This is our new giveaway bike on yammynoob.co. Become a member for your best chance to win. You can stack up your entries, assign them to this giveaway bike, and then we do more giveaway bikes. You can do that as well. You get access to the Discord server, exclusive content, discounts on merch, and so much more. Head over to the website and do not miss your chance to win this machine. This is why the vast majority of more experienced riders tend to fall in the 100 to 120 horsepower max for a street bike. Beyond that point, you really can't utilize what the motorcycle is designed to do. You need wider roads, you need higher speed limits, you need bigger straightaways to access 150, 160, 170 horsepower. And as we saw in 1999, the fastest motorcycles that were available had 150 horsepower. I mean, a Busa came out in 1999 and made 175 with 103 foot-pounds of torque, and everybody thought that was the end of the world. That was the craziest, fastest thing anyone's ever seen. This coincides to me with the trend that I'm seeing on social media where riders are getting these very powerful motorcycles and genuinely have no clue what to do with them. If you've been riding for 6 months to 12 months, you are in no way, shape, or form ready for a motorcycle that makes 200 horsepower. Yes, you can probably get on it and ride it to your destination safely, but be honest, you're probably pooping your pants a little bit when you get there. Riding a bike is about engaging with the machine confidently, effectively, and enjoying your time doing it. It's not merely about owning the thing and surviving to your destination. That is like the lowest IQ way of enjoying motorcycles to me. So yeah, I genuinely think modern motorcycles have become a bit too fast. I mean, this is considered a normal, bop around, everyday usable street bike, but this thing's really damn fast if you stop and think about it. But our collective perceptions have been warped with crazy spec sheet analysis and maybe even our own abilities to ride these super fast motorcycles. I remember when I owned a Turbo Hayabusa and rode it somewhat regularly, stuff like a Street Fighter V4 didn't really feel that torquey or fast to me. It started warping my whole perception on speed. And this is my advice to you young guys out there on leader bikes, clapping them out at 180, 190 miles per hour on the highway. Slow the F down. You'll find that you enjoy more things in life when you appreciate them at the smaller, lower level. Doing spec sheet analysis with your boys and just, buying a bike because it makes 200 plus horsepower is a really silly reason to do it. And so yeah, crucify me if you want. I think modern motorcycles are a bit too fast, and I think the market is responding with motorcycles that are a little less crazy, a little more approachable, a little cheaper, a little bit more fun. And honestly, I think that's what we've been championing here on Yammy Noob all along. Because remember, our mission is to get more people excited about motorcycles. And if people's exposure to motorcycles are just crazy, super fast, top shelf super bikes, it's not gonna be that fun. One shot of adrenaline from a super bike can be pretty fun, but creating long-lasting memories and enjoying your motorcycle in a variety of ways is ultimately a long-term better view of success with motorcycling. So boys, that wraps up my opinion on modern motorcycles being too fast. Like I said, crucify me if you want in the comments section. I've laid down my piece here, and I think I've made some pretty good points. But if you have something you want to discuss with me, let me know in the comments. If you feel like you really do use your 200 plus horsepower motorcycle to commute to and from the office, I'd love to hear from you, and you can let me know all about how amazing you think it is. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I truly do appreciate it. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. All right, everybody, this video is over. There's no more to watch on this beautiful video between me and you, but this Triumph Street Triple 765 RS is available on yammynoob.co as a giveaway bike. Hit that link while you're waiting for the next video to load, become a member. It'll take you as easy as 1, 2, 3, and then you're signed up to win. How cool is that? Papa Yam's giving away 54 bikes. You could be the next one.